The Transport Minister, Barbara Creecy, has decried the many challenges facing the railway sector in the SADC region. The minister delivered the welcoming remarks at the 13th Annual South African Railway Association Conference that's currently taking place in Sandton. Among other things, the conference is aimed at discussing regional rail connectivity and improving rail safety. To tell us more about the conference, I'm joined by Hishaam Emeran, who is the Southern African Railways Association President and Prasa CEO. A very good afternoon to you, Mr. Emeran. Thanks very much for your time. Who is attending this conference, and what is the whole point and purpose of it all?
Good afternoon, Vuyo, and good afternoon to your viewers. I'm happy to be on your show. As you've pointed out, we've had our 13th SARA Rail Conference. This is an annual conference that we have held in South Africa, and is attended by, we were fortunate to have the Ministers of Transport from 5 of the SADC countries that were present themselves or sent a representative on their behalf. We were hosted by, as you've indicated in your opening remarks, the Minister Barbara Creecy from South Africa. And in addition to being with the ministers present, we've got the CEOs of the various railway authorities in SADC. We've also got the private sector, captains of industry that is present, as well as financiers, finance institutions looking and investing in the rail space that attends this conference. And together with the conference, we've got an exhibition that is running for over the 3 days, where we've got many suppliers and sponsors that are showcasing their products within the rail environment.
Now, how do you, or what have you done to ensure that it doesn't end up being not that there's everything wrong with talk shops, but how do you ensure, what have you put in place to ensure that it's meaningful and it will have results that, as you say, will take the region forward?
Absolutely. We definitely do not want to see this just being a talk shop. Yes, it's important that it gives us the platform to share ideas, to showcase the developments and trends within the industry, but very important to learn lessons where we've seen success in other parts of the region in terms of projects that are running. And certainly within the SADC region, there are some very exciting projects that are on the go. Significant projects looking at modernizing and increasing the connectivity between the various member states in SADC. And that's part of the lessons that we are sharing. Here in South Africa as well, we've shared particularly around the passenger rail recovery that we have had in the last 18 months in particular, where a number of corridors have been brought back, and sharing the lessons with the modernization elements that we have been rolling out. And importantly for South Africa, that we now have the manufacturing capability for rolling stock and becoming the manufacturing hub for the SADC region and the continent going forward.
It takes me nicely to some remarks your host, the Minister of Transport, made on the back of your board's decision the other day to end the relationship with Zolani Matthews, saying hopefully you will now be focusing on restoring the passenger rail system to full capacity.
Absolutely. They are the men and women at Prasa, 15,000 strong, are focused in terms of turning this business around. We have made some significant progress over the past 18 months, but the job is far from done. We've got a lot more work to do. We need to get more trains running, increase the frequencies of our service, and ensure that we bring all the modernized elements into the system. So we are focused, as you indicated. It will require that. It will require the dedication of each and every member, staff member at Prasa, to ensure that we put shoulder to the wheel, so to say, in ensuring that we meet the very clear mandate that our shareholder has given us.
Modernizing, of course, is only, one part. There's the refurbishment of stations, there's the reopening of all rail corridors, as well as the recovery of many lines.
Yes, to date we have seen the recovery of 31 out of the 40 services that we provide, the 40 corridors, close to 80%. There is still work continuing on these 31 corridors to ensure that we can modernize further and improve the frequencies. But work is also continuing on the balance of the corridors that we are dealing with. As I speak, the teams are working in Cape Town, ensuring that we can get the central line up and running before the end of the year. That's the line to Khayelitsha and Mitchells Plain. The teams are hard at work here in Gauteng, ensuring that we can extend the service in Soweto beyond Midway through to Residentia and all the way down to Vereniging at some point in time, as well as the Kweseni link on the eastern end. So the teams are hard at work. We also are very proud of the fact that we do now have the brand new modern trains that are being rolled out on more than 90% of these corridors. And this is trains that meet global standards in terms of the modernization elements. And we are proud that it's manufactured in South Africa. And we are to all the citizens out there of the country, if they do get the chance to experience this wonderful new trains that we are rolling out on these corridors.
Of course, reopening the corridors and recovering and extending certain lines also comes with other problems at times. As you were talking about the Cape Town line, I was thinking about the attitudes of the taxi industry, at times when these developments happened. How is that being managed by all stakeholders?
Well, firstly, we don't see the taxis as our competitors. I think we're part of an integrated transport system. The taxi has got a role to play, as well as rail that has got a role to play. And certainly on Prasa's side, we are having sessions that have been set up with the leadership of the taxi industries to ensure that there's an understanding in terms of how we can complement each other in terms of providing integrated transport. It's important that we do have the taxis as well as the bus, your BRT and those systems that connect with the rail system. We do need those feeder distributions and the complementary services that the road-based services offer to ensure that we do offer a complete transport service to the public out there.
Of course, the recovery of lines has to go hand in hand with the refurbishments and rebuildings in certain instances of station. How is that progressing?
Yeah, we've progressed quite well. We've seen more than 70% of our stations that we have ensured we've got basic functionality. There are further projects that go with the station development. Over and above just returning the stations to basic functionality and the upgrades, we also do have the secondary mandate for you to look at generating revenue off our assets, and the station precincts are quite critical. We do have a number of developments where we're looking at mixed-use developments at our stations, around our stations. More recently, you've seen the one at Cape Town Station, where together with the private sector participation, we've looked at the development of 3,300 beds of student accommodation, and that includes 7,000 square meters of rail. And that supports our primary mandate of ensuring that we promote rail transport. We see the students, people using the facilities there that have now got access to the rail service on their doorstep, so to speak. And we've got a number of these developments around the country that we want to pursue to ensure that overall, with this revenue generation, we see a more sustainable passenger rail entity in the future. Lastly,
and very briefly, you were talking just now about the brand new modern trains that Gibela is building at the local factory. The Sefambo Foslo Espana duo, the companies that benefited handsomely from that corrupt deal to the tune of 1.8 billion rands. Any plans to recover some of that money at least?
There's certainly a process that has been underway to look at how we do recover the best value for Prasa. And the best value for Prasa and the country may not only mean looking at monetary value. It could be that, and this is what the team is busy with at the moment, looking at the value of these locomotives within our environment. At the moment, you find that one of the biggest challenges we have, particularly on our long-distance rail services, your intercity services, is the shortage of locomotives. In addition to the condition of the infrastructure that we address together with our sister company Transnet. So we are certainly looking. We've got the various teams on board to look at how we best ensure that through Prasa and in the country as a whole, we get the best value coming out of this process. Since we've seen the dilemma with that process. And I think in due course, once we have got to a point where we are clear on the outcome of this process that we are in, we will be communicating that with yourselves and with the citizens of this country.
Hishaam Emeran, thank you very much for your time. He's, of course, the CEO of Prasa. They are hosting a regional South African SADC region conference where they are all coming together. They are looking at the future of rail on our region.